trying to bring contemporary dance closer to the audience and offer an insight to the creative process behind each performance. Today, it's my pleasure to speaking with Maria Campos and Guy Nader, choreographers of the piece Natural of the Order of Things and founders of Nader Campos Company based in Barcelona, Spain. Welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So your creative journey started in 2006 and it's been almost 20 years. So how would you describe your artistic universe? What keeps inspiring your joint vision to work together?
Nice.
Well, first of all, of course, there is a big interest in the work of partnering and the contact. This is one of the things that it started. We started creating duets, and therefore we brought it also into more group dynamics. And for me, one of the first interests it was to how can we work together with a partner, and how can we dance together to arrive to places that we cannot arrive on our own, no? And that was a bit in the beginning the most, for me, the most interesting part of creating this union.
Yeah, that was like initially a common interest between Maria and me when we started in the studio exploring together, and we developed it to I would say compositional work with the group dynamic especially, and it's based on physical aspects, principle of physics actually, and all those principles of physics are related to gravity.
Exactly, because that's what the partnering is based on. And on this journey, like, was it more like organically developed, and you as your perception of the world, your experiences deepens and changes, and you mature along with it? Or it was more like a journey where you pass through some breaking points, milestones, which has changed significantly this approach to creation? Or it's like more organic? How would you describe that?
Well, I think when you start something, you never know exactly where it's ending, honestly. So it's a long practice and long journey. It's quite organic, I would say. And at the same time, it was a learning process. Like with each work, we would learn something that would develop in the next work. And somehow that's why we were interested in doing, for example, the trilogy, because when we started to work with the notion of time, we thought like one piece is not enough to dig into this notion.
Mm-hmm.
So we called like kind of unfinished business. Every time we do something, it feels like you're missing still a deepening in the approach. So we're developing it in the next piece, and then and it was like this ongoing process, like, and then the other one, and the other one. So we have been searching the notion of time the last 2012. We started mainly focusing on the notion of time and space, on composition, on group dynamics, on being more and more interested in the I would say the core of what dance means to us, of course, mainly to us. So we were getting rid of all the, let's say we started working in the beginning, the first duets were with objects, for example, more maybe theatrical approaches. Dramaturgically was the approach was more like towards a situational kind of starting points or exploration. And then because I come from theater also, and Maria came from dance, so we wanted at the beginning of all, we wanted like to approach together, no, these two different starting points, let's say, coming from theater, from dramaturgy, and Maria coming from contemporary dance. Of course, I did also dance, but that was like our main interest at the beginning. And then with the passage of time and organically was changing little by little to focus on a very physical and conceptual exploration of natural systems, also such in the last piece of time and space, of composition, So apart from partnering, I think partnering is a way of a physical way of approaching those notions, but the most important, I think, is the exploration of the composition in time and space. That's really it's a very complex exploration in composition and spatial composition. So that's the main practice now that we dig in.
And you're right. When I saw first time some videos from the rehearsal process, the piece really struck me, and then I followed its development somehow, and the invitation is the result. And in this piece, there are 9 dancers, and they really work like this single organism. They create the special universe, they breathe together, they share the space and create it at the same time. And it's really maybe for our audiences will be interesting to know how was the creative process, like how to achieve this like precision of one single organism, and then suddenly it's really like in a split second is this chaos and which is really apparent and happens suddenly in a very, very sharp as a very sharp change. So how was the process like in the studio to work with this 9 individualities, to bring them together and so on? So tell something about that.
Yeah. Actually, we always take a lot of time. Let's say, I mean, our creations are 5 months of creation. So let's say that the first 2 months we like to first of all share our vocabulary, our tools that we are gonna also be developing and sharing with the dancers in order to start creating. So we like to say that in a way it's a research process that we start with, and playful place, to start digging into the tools. Even for us, it's very important. Of course, we always come with a very clear physical task and concept before. So Guy and me, before this creation starts with the dancers or with all the team, we come from a long process of already creating and establishing somehow this playground first. So this is most of the times is the for us the key to really start talking the same language with, so everyone can start to set up a.
And the team of the dancers, are they some you used to work together, or they were just for this piece selected?
In this team, particularly in Natural Order of Things, it's mostly all are new. The dancers, only one dancer worked with us in other pieces, actually substituted, not even did, I would say, the creation process, Alfonso from Mexico, but let's say he has been working, for the last, or touring for the last 4 years, so he knows a bit the approach, but still didn't create with us before, and no one was in other creation process. So that's why Maria was underlying the fact that the first 2 months, 2 months and a half, like we really create this a playful ground where we start to share our practice, so they get used to what we do, simply how we approach the movements, and because it's very specific, very precise, and we need to build up confidence. We need also in themselves, not only in the others. I would say the most, in general, my experience with the dancers, building an own confidence is harder than building the confidence with the other, because I think dancers, they really have confidence with each other for each other, but you have to have a lot of confidence in yourself to be able to let go. No, so I think this takes time, and not only because of confidence matter, but also of quality and of talking the same language. We have to create a common ground, and after that we start at the same time we're creating, but without telling them that we are creating. I think we get rid of the seriousness. I think that's to create this playfulness is very important, and then the seriousness that start to happen us when we start to compose all this, because it's really a mind blowing sometimes how to compose all this, because it's only based on, it's very minimalistic, the approach. So it's based on one physical text that Maria and me bring to the dancers, and we explore with this. We don't improvise in a way that it's not an open improvisation. It's not neither a contact improvisation. It's an exploration of how our locomotor system behave, our bone structure behave, understanding in, of course, with the surrounding, which means the space, with the gravity, with and understanding the anatomy of the movement, and then a complex anatomy of body moving together. So it could feel very generic, but it's very precise the way we approach it. So we have this physical text that we keep on doing it for 5 months, and we keep on juicing all the possibilities, and the most difficult part is to create a piece out of this. So it doesn't only become an exploration, but it also becomes a whole journey that we invite the audience to take it with us. And to maintain one thing from the beginning to the end, it's, as you can imagine, it's really challenging. So, but we like it. We like this repetition, this accumulation, and insistence, and the rigorosity in the movement, and that's why it's precise somehow.
Great. And also because of letting go, you can feel from them this freedom, which is, I think, very important for going through to the audience, because they really they are there, and that's really important. And as you mentioned, it's a minimalistic piece. What I like about it also is the visual aspect, and also the sound. So maybe just those people who work with you are your collaborators, or only for this piece, or is an ongoing collaboration, and how all this visual and music aspect came out, and how much that influenced the dramaturgy of the piece.
Yeah, actually, this time it was the first time we were working with, for example, with Kotike. He's the composer of the music that for natural order, and it was like our first collaboration. So somehow we had been working already for a long time with the same composer. It was for us also a challenge to bring a new person and new
fresh somehow,
fresh,
no?
yeah.
Like energy, because sorry to cut, because it's related to the fact that we also come from the long-term collaboration with the long-term exploration of the notion of time and space with the trilogy, and with Peter's also. Before that, we were working with Miguel Marin from Sevilla, and it was a very nice collaboration, and worked very well. But we thought also stopping to work with this, not stopping because it's a continuation, it's a practice, no, but like we wanted to shift a bit to those natural phenomena, no, and not talk anymore about the time. And so we thought it's a clever choice to shift and work with a new musician to bring new collaboration, new inspirations. And Kotike is from Greece, the Greek Italian composer living in Greece. Yeah, sorry. So wanted just to.
Yeah,
and mainly for us, we always create, for example, space-wise, we were working with Conchita, with Pons. She did, the lights, but of course, this space-wise, like the stage, we always create ourselves, this environment. We try to, how can we support the idea and the concept? How can how can support the whole piece, through this space that gives more sense to what is happening on stage. This is us bringing, especially Guy, thinking a lot about how can it support.
Yes, true. Apart from departing from the physical and conceptual movement or the exploration of this, it always comes already with a very specific space, because like as if the movement defined the space, but also the space is also defining the movement, and it gives an inspiration also. So we try to come always ready, with the space and the movement. It's at least, if not for the dancers, but at least for us, we know, let's say, where this is happening somehow. It's very, very important to help us also continue imagining to where we can develop this. So the space is really, really important. Let's say technically the stage design is also coming already from us with the movement itself.
And also I like this combination of silence and music, because I think when you when there is a silence, there is different space on stage as when there is a music.
Yes, true. We always start with silence. We like somehow, well, we like, or I think it's fundamentally and conceptually needed to establish, since we are talking to be coherent, also the proposition that it's the movement that established the whole dramaturgy. So the dramaturgy is not only in the movement, but it's also in the musicality of the movement, because the movement has to have this first word, the piece. So it's needed to get rid of all other, let's say, effects around it. So we like to be very rough, like, and to hear the breath of the movement, which means the musicality, and to see it, to understand it, and to get this, feeling that the audience are going with it. And then, of course, the soundscape is very important to support the right energy, that needs to surf with us, to take us somewhere, and the audience also, take the audience also, not only us.
And maybe coming to an end, as an invitation for the audiences, what would you like audiences to take away from your performance, from Natural of the Things?
Well, I mean, for me, what I always say, like, I like that the people just takes what they grab, in the end. It's not that we want something, but in the end, it's a trip that we are going together through, and a journey, and that we are sharing. And in the end, the people are like arriving there with their own stories. We don't want to propose or impose any concrete story, but in the end, it's about this, like, it's about sharing an energy, sharing 1 hour ongoing, 9 people working together to make it one thing possible, which in the end it's this journey. So
I mean, of course, we have wishes, apart from wishing, that people would really take the journey with us, which mean liking it somehow. We all want, like, at the end of the day. But apart from liking it or not, I think the moment I think you would say what you want from the audience to see and feel, then you
lose.
I think it ends there. I think it ends there, because, and it's not very pretentious. It's simply like it's as much as it's an abstract, it's very concrete journey. I think that's the characteristic of the work. Like, movement at the end is abstract, but also how our challenge and our specific approach to this abstraction is, like, how can we make it concrete? Like, and at the same time, I want myself, Maria also, like, what I always want, like, the everyone understand the same thing, but at the same time, it's not one thing. And it's not
because it's
understanding, but because the movement is so concrete that they were exactly relate. First, coherency with the title, coherency with the stage, with the lights, with all the elements has to talk the same thing. So I think that's coherency makes it very concrete, and this physical aspects that we are working with are so concrete that everyone can relate, not understanding, but relate to it in a very concrete way. And then the abstraction comes from the imagination of each one. So the people at the end, they are the real dramaturgy of the piece. Everyone has a dramaturgy.
Exactly.
So,
exactly. Thank you very much for sharing, and we are really looking forward to introduce Natural Order of Things to our audiences in Bratislava. See you then. Thank you very much.
Yeah, for your interest and invitation. It's first time in Bratislava, and we really like it. We really like first time things. So we're looking forward, and I'm sure it's gonna be great, and we're gonna give our best.
Thank you.
Thank you.